Now, live from KCAU TV in Sioux City, Iowa, this is Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning at 5 a.m.
Take it slow on the roadways today.
Yeah, just a complete whiteout out there. And speaking of out there, that's where our good friend, Mr. Scott Larson, is hanging out. Hey, we sure glad you're braving the elements, Scott. How's it looking out there?
Well, Jessica and Matt, we still have a steady light snowfall coming to the ground here. Easily our biggest snow of the season, though. We're seeing that 9 inches of snow. That's a huge change from what we've seen with any of our previous storms thus far. Now, one thing that is fairly good with this system, we haven't seen much in the way of winds. Right now, just a very light breeze kind of flapping the flags here down at the Tyson Event Center, so it isn't causing much in the way of drifting. But again, if you are headed out this morning, definitely want to take it easy on the roads, as many of them are still snow and ice covered at this time. So we're still looking for those light snow accumulations as we go through the morning, but right now 9 inches, definitely a pretty significant storm.
All right, thanks, Scott. You look so majestic out there. We know the roadways are anything but it does make for a pretty sight. Thanks for keeping us updated, Scott. But how are things looking right now? Let's check in with our own Scott Larson. He is outside right now braving the elements. Scott, how's everything going right now?
Well, Jessica, it's still pretty chilly out here. As Matt was saying in the forecast, those temperatures are down in the teens. So if you are headed out today, definitely want to have the hat and gloves handy, as it is on the chillier side, but at least the winds aren't too bad, so wind chills aren't so bad at this time. Now, if you're heading out on the roads this morning, make sure that you're giving the vehicle in front of you plenty of space. Always buckle your seatbelt too. That's always a good idea as well, especially with these icy and treacherous roads that are still out and about this morning. Now, some of the major roads have been cleared at this time. Gordon Drive behind me here looks like it has been plowed. So for the most part, some of the major roads are in decent shape, but some of the roads still haven't been touched. So definitely want to be taking it easy with speed this morning, and also driving safely, of course.
All right, thanks so much. Our man, Scott Larson, braving the elements to bring us the latest.
As we get a look at that day planner as well, we're going to be looking for about 15 degrees this morning. We will warm up a little bit by noontime, getting to about 20 or so, and then 24 in the afternoon, looking for those flurries to continue until about 4 o'clock or so. Now, we also want to throw it over to our other meteorologist, Scott Larson, my good friend, who's also outside braving the elements right now. He's at the Tyson Event Center. Scott, what are you looking at down there?
Well, thanks, Matt. I'm definitely looking forward to those temperatures getting up into the 20s today, as it's still pretty chilly down here this morning, but a whole lot of snow continues to fall down. Some light snow at this time, but we definitely saw some good accumulations with around 9 inches of total snow. And for any of those kids out there, it's a snow day, so probably a good time to take advantage of those hills as well. Definitely some good sledding weather as we continue to have that fresh powder being laid down out here. Of course, if you are headed out today, definitely want to stay safe, as we still have those icy and snowy conditions here as the plows try to keep up with this snow. But we'll continue to bring you more updates from down here at the Tyson Event Center as the morning goes on. Back to you, Jessica.
Look at that, team coverage. Thank you so much for keeping us updated, guys. Yeah, absolutely. And while we are nice and warm now inside, poor Scott Larson sure isn't taking it like a champ. He joins us live with some of the current conditions out there. How's it going out there, Scott?
Well, Jessica and Matt, I was not blessed with four-wheel drive this morning. I have a two-wheel drive Honda Civic, but I still managed to get into work, fortunately, braving those roads. And if you're headed out on the roads too today, it's definitely a good idea to pack a winter survival package, as that can also really help you out. Packing a winter survival kit for your car only takes minutes, but it can be very important. A few items you should include are a blanket. In the worst case scenario that your car breaks down, you need something to keep you warm. A flashlight with extra batteries. Food and bottled water are also good, so that you have something to snack on in case you get stuck. Any essential medications should also be packed in the kit, along with a portable NOAA weather radio. This will help keep you informed on the latest weather developments. It's just a few items, but they can help to save your life. And as I said there, it only takes a few minutes to pack all of those items, but they can definitely make a huge difference. You never know when that worst case scenario comes up and your car breaks down and you have to go into that kit. Back to you, Jessica.
Yes, that's so very true. Thanks so much for all the updates, Scott. We'll check back with you again soon. Let's check in with meteorologist Scott Larson. He's out there now braving the elements all morning long. Scott, how are the conditions looking right now?
Well, you know, Matt and Jessica, it was just a few weeks ago that we had Groundhog Day, and Punxsutawney Phil said that we were going to have an early spring. I think it's safe to say that Punxsutawney Phil's a bit of a, well, he didn't do a great job this time. We have very slick roads. Quite a bit of snow still coming down, light stuff at this time, but it's still causing some slick roads out there. Now, if you are heading out today, you definitely want to leave the vehicle in front of you. Plenty of room so that if you have to make any sort of sudden stops, that you have plenty of space to do so. In addition to that, getting a look at some of those road conditions that are on our map here. So we check some of those out. Highway 20, Highway 75 reporting ice and snow-covered roads stretching up and down I-29, much of I-80 as well. So we are seeing those icy conditions really across much of the state of Iowa with the system as it continues to pull off to the east. So if you are headed out today, just make sure that you're taking plenty of caution as we still have quite a bit of snow falling around the area. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks so much, Scott. Thanks so much. Let's check in with Scott now. He's braving the cold right now to tell us exactly how things are looking out there. What's going on right now, Scott?
Well, Jessica, it's still pretty quiet out here. We have those snowflakes still falling here in downtown Sioux City at the Tyson Events Center. And traffic at this time still pretty light as well. Not a whole lot of vehicles out on the roads, and maybe that's for the best. But as you were talking about, there is some excitement that always comes with precipitation, and some couldn't help themselves from heading out last night, and I spoke with a few of them. The snow arrived quickly, falling heavily in Sioux City throughout the evening. But that didn't stop some folks from getting out. Dylan and Alex hit Starbucks for something to keep them warm in the frigid weather.
Just thought we'd go out for some hot chocolate and coffee, warm up the insides a little bit.
And the snow is definitely a dramatic change, but shoppers tonight say it's not all bad.
Nice to have a change. Didn't have too much snow all winter. And maybe the kids will be out playing tomorrow and have a good time. But, you know, we don't need to stay around forever, but a little while, we've kind of missed it.
Yeah. Yes, we certainly have been missing that snow here, and but hey, we definitely got it this time, quite a bit of snow, in fact, and I'll say that some Starbucks or something warm sounds terrific at this point. Back to you, Jessica.
I was just going to say that. Starbucks sounds amazing right now, Scott. Maybe if you're lucky, I'll swing by and pick you up one. You've been working hard today.
Thanks a lot.
Flurry activity that stops, though, by the time we get into the later portion of the afternoon. We'll hit the mid-20s for our high.
Okay, good to know. And talk about some meteorological team coverage going on today. Our own Scott Larson is outside braving the elements. He's been there all morning long. Scott, paint a picture for us. What are you seeing out there?
Well, Jessica, I just saw a few snow plows pass through here on Gordon Drive, pushing some of that snow out of the roads. Definitely some snowy roads out here this morning. Plenty of snow piled up here in the parking lot at the Tyson Events Center. I just want to emphasize, too, it is a snow day for all of Sioux City. And if those kids are heading out today, make sure that you're wearing plenty of layers. I just want to emphasize how many layers I have on. I have on this coat. In addition to that, I have a polar fleece, another shirt, a couple other shirts, and then Under Armour. I have 2 layers of gloves on as well, and it is still pretty cold out here. Those temperatures still down in the teens this morning, so definitely a cold day and snowy day as well. Back to you guys.
That is definitely a lot of layers,
Look
Scott.
at that. Scott braving the elements, taking his jacket off for everybody.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at that.
Oh, yeah. And even some Under Armour underneath everything.
He's ready to go.
You are prepared, Scott. We love you for that.
Now, live from KCAU TV in Sioux City, Iowa. This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning at 6 a.m.
Well, thanks, Jessica and Matt. As Matt said, that snow, that heavier snow, is now starting to push off to the east, but we're still seeing some light snow shower activity, and with that, the weather ball high on top of the Ho-Chunk Center still remains white. That precipitation in sight, and it looks like it's going to last here in Sioux City for at least the next several hours. So if you are planning to travel, even just walking, hitting the sidewalks, we do have some slick spots as we do have some ice that is starting to generate as well. So definitely a slick and snowy morning here in Sioux City, and quite the change after a fairly dry winter season.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Thanks so much, Scott. And how's the saying go for the weather ball? Glowing white, precipitation in sight. We are not out of the woods, that's for sure. Taking a look at road conditions, I know a lot of folks had trouble making it in today, including you and me. Were kind of slipping and sliding around. Let's check in with Scott Larson. He's actually joined by Officer Chad Sheehan with the police department. And Scott, Chad was actually supposed to join us a little bit earlier, but he too had problems getting in.
That's right, Jessica. Officer Sheehan saw some pretty heavy snow this morning. Well, all of us did, actually. That snow continuing to pound down here. And now Officer Sheehan is joining me to talk about those road conditions and just some driver safety tips. Tell me what drivers should do this morning to stay safe out on the roads.
Well, if you have to be out driving, we recommend that you allow yourself some extra time to get to your destination. The side streets, there are many of the side streets that have not been hit by city crews yet. They're still working on the emergency routes so that emergency services can get where they need to in town. So you're gonna have to allow yourself some extra time. When you are traveling, make sure that you please slow down. Driving too fast for conditions is the leading cause of accidents in bad weather. So please slow down, allow yourself extra stopping time. When you approach intersections, make sure you stop or at least slow down to make sure that the other traffic has crossed the intersection safely before you enter into those intersections.
Right, and it's also a good idea to leave plenty of space between yourself and the vehicle in front of you, right?
Absolutely. Always allow yourself extra distance, extra time in between yourself and another vehicle.
Definitely some good words of advice from Officer Sheehan. I definitely appreciate you joining us, as well as it is very snowy out here. Those roads very slick, and Officer Sheehan will join us again here in just a few minutes. Back to you, Jessica.
Yeah, that sounds good. Very good words of advice there. And I have to admit, there was a couple times on my straightaway on Jackson Street today where I was probably going faster than I needed to be going. And once I approached that intersection, I found it tough to stop and tough to slow down.
I know my anti-lock brakes kicked in a couple times this morning as well. I think I was doing maybe the same as you, maybe just a tad too fast. So make sure that you do go slow and keep yourself plenty safe.
That's right.
Taper off. Now, Scott Larson, my fellow meteorologist, is still at the Tyson Event Center. He's down there with Officer Sheehan. We'll get a talk with him real quick, see what's going on down there, Scott.
Well, thank you, Matt. Officer Sheehan joined me just minutes ago talking about some ways that you can stay safe on the roads, and now he's joining me again talking about some of those current road conditions. Officer Sheehan, what can people expect as they walk out the door this morning headed off to work?
Well, the plows are out working. They've been out working all night. Throughout the night, though, they have been mostly focused on the emergency routes in town. So a lot of your major thoroughfares are going to be hit with the plows.
Yes, we've definitely seen some of the plows here on Gordon Drive this morning.
Absolutely. Even the roads that have been hit by the plows, they're still 100% snow and ice packed and covered and very slippery. The side roads, some of the side roads are not going to have been hit by the plows yet, and they're just deep enough to about, on my squad car, I was just pushing a little bit of snow as I was coming in on the side streets that weren't plowed. So
yeah, right around 9-10 inches.
Yep, you're going to have to just take it slow and take it easy.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you again, Officer Sheehan, for joining us this morning. Very cold and snowy, of course. Folks, if you're headed out there, make sure that you're staying safe as we continue to have those very snowy conditions and icy roads. Back to you, Jessica.
Take it slow. Best words of advice we could ever use today. Thanks so much, Scott, Matt, and Officer Sheehan, who's been braving the elements all morning long, bringing us up to date on any minute-to-minute changes. Let's check in with him right now. He's standing by live right outside the Tyson Event Center. Scott, tell us what you're looking at. What are you seeing?
Well, Matt and Jessica, we're starting to see some more traffic start to enter the roads this morning, so it looks like folks are starting to perk up and shake off those 9 inches of snow that we've seen through the overnight. Now, if you're headed out today, make sure that you are packing a winter survival kit, and here are a few of the items that you should put in it. Packing a winter survival kit for your car only takes minutes, but it can be very important. A few items you should include are a blanket. In the worst case scenario that your car breaks down, you need something to keep you warm. A flashlight with extra batteries. Food and bottled water are also good so that you have something to snack on in case you get stuck. Any essential medications should also be packed in the kit, along with a portable NOAA weather radio. This will help keep you informed on the latest weather developments. It's just a few items, but they can help to save your life. So just take a few moments to put that together before you leave this morning, just in case, the worst case scenario does occur, your car breaks down, anything like that, you'll be prepared for this winter storm as it continues to pull through the area. Back to you guys.
Now, live from KCAU TV in Sioux City, Iowa, this is Channel 9 Eyewitness News Midday.
Well, all this snow Matt was just talking about made for some sketchy commutes in the Siouxland area this morning. Weekend meteorologist Scott Larson was up bright and early and caught up with some drivers who had a tough time getting to where they needed to be this morning. He joins us live outside now, just outside the Tyson Event Center, with the very latest on these conditions and what we still need to keep in mind throughout the day. Good morning, Scott. How is it out there?
Well, Jessica and Matt, when I first arrived down here at the Tyson Event Center this morning with the photographer, we were wading through about 9 to 10 inches of snow, some very heavy snow falling, of course, through the evening and overnight and into this morning. And we now have a cleared out, looks like the plows have now attacked the parking lot here, and for the most part, we're now clearing those streets out. But we did have that heavy snow mainly through the morning, and there were definitely some slick roads out there as well. Folks were slipping and sliding around earlier today as many of the roads were still snow and ice covered. But the situation is gradually improving now as the snow is starting to drift out of the area, and those winds are starting to calm down as well.
It's crazy. It's, you know, we've been waiting for this kind of snow. I love it. The roads are pretty slick, but they're starting to get a little bit better. It just, you know, hit all of a sudden.
And as I was saying, many of the roads have been plowed now, but it's still best to take care if you're planning to head out this afternoon. Now, police officers say that many of the problems that are rooted in the wintry weather are related to people not giving themselves enough time.
If you have to travel, we recommend that you leave plenty early to allow yourself time to drive slowly as you try to get to your destination.
And of course, the number one thing to remember is to buckle your seatbelt as soon as you get in the car. Also leave plenty of distance between your vehicle and the car that's in front of you, especially when you're approaching a stop. Jessica?
All right. Thanks so much, Scott. We'll get another update from you here shortly.
Myself, Fred, as well as Scott will keep team coverage for all this winter weather.
Always appreciated. And speaking of team coverage, Scott Larson is still standing by outside the Tyson Event Center. Let's check in with him to see exactly what road conditions are like right now. What can you tell us, Scott?
Well, Jessica, as I was saying just a few moments ago, the parking lot here at the Tyson Event Center is cleared out, and it's all thanks to Ethan, who has the day off of school, along with his dad, helping to clear out all of that heavy snow that fell through the overnight. We're now seeing some sunshine actually peek through those clouds, and those temperatures are becoming a little more comfortable as well. The roads, though, still a bit of an issue, some icy spots, especially on the less traveled roads. So if you are going to be heading out tonight, the Iowa State Patrol is asking that you do wear your seatbelt. Also make sure that the car is completely clear of any snow or ice so that all of your lights are visible. And also give snow plows, and in addition to that, emergency vehicles, any sort of emergency vehicle on the road, plenty of room around you. So let's say you are traveling out of town tonight. That's when a winter survival kit is really going to come in handy. And some things that you should consider having in it are flashlights with extra batteries, a Channel 9 approved NOAA weather radio, extra snacks and water, along with any medication that you need, and also any first aid supplies. Also, don't forget a blanket or something else to keep you warm. And what you may not be thinking about, but is just as important, is keeping a red towel or scarf in your car, and that's for you to hang in case you need to signal for any help. And of course, you can always catch the latest on our mobile app right at your fingertips, all the latest weather and radar information right there on the KCAU app, free to download on Android and iPhone. Back to you, Jessica.
Well, thank you so much, Scott. I think you're done for the day. You can come on back inside and warm up.